And I wish I would stop and listen to my body more so first and realize I need to take those step backs. But I also thought, I know a lot of my first responders do the same thing.
Welcome back to the podcast when the call hits home. This is Jennifer.
And I'm Ashlee, and we're back.
We are back, and it has been a minute. Ashley and I were just talking, and I was like, What was the last thing we talked about?" Because it's been so long. It almost feels like it was like last year when we were doing this podcast. But welcome back, everybody.
True. So true. I mean, welcome back to you, Jennifer, too. You've had to like adjust back to life and an amazing vacation. And so it's exciting that you're back. I'm excited that you're back. The
Well, thank
confidence that
you.
I feel, my last co-host was a little wild. So
That was the wildest card ever. I think that when the call hits home has to have an HR department now after she was here. Just kidding. We were very thankful that he stepped in. And I don't know if you just want to share a little bit about the conference and what that experience was like.
So Ilita was pretty incredible. Like I am very, very happy that we went and still very honored that we were able to present there in person. I do recommend any of our first responders that are listening, law enforcement wise, security wise, corrections wise, to go. There is just so many opportunities. I was very blown away by their ability to kind of come full circle and encompass this notion of like presentations, but have so many where really it should hit almost everybody in their interest, right?
Oh, wow.
Oh yeah, it was like I was so impressed by that. And then there was a lot of hands-on stuff.
Oh,
So like
cool.
there was buses and shuttles taking people to like ranges, like
Okay.
range day and stuff for like tactical like mat time and it was just very impressive that way. And then I have to say too, the networking opportunity was just wild. So
Hmm.
they had an event every single night, and it was like very fun things to do, like a huge bags tournament that everybody was into, and a cigar and wine.
Cornhole is what we call it in the South, but
Yeah, yeah. Right.
yeah.
And just like that was so
Well,
impressive.
I feel like you had texted me at one point. I think I was going to bed, and you're like, "We're going to trivia tonight," and I was like, "Oh, you guys have like a trivia night and stuff."
Trivia was a
So
thing
yeah,
too.
yeah.
Yes,
I
yeah.
kind of love that it was like so engaging, like outside of hours too. Some conferences you go to, it's just like show up for the like information and then go, hide in your hotel room and stuff. So that's cool that it was really like so
Yeah,
engaging like that.
super engaging.
Of having like so many different talking points and like there being there something there for everybody, what kind of stood out to you? Like what piqued your interest? Can you tell I haven't recorded a podcast? I don't know English anymore.
Oh
I'm
my gosh, we're the same
sorry.
way. No,
Stumbling
we're
over
like
my
rusty.
words.
Both of us are rusty. We're getting
Yeah.
back into it. Honestly, something that stood out to me, and I was thinking about this a lot. Well, big nerd in terms of the brain, why the brain does what it does, right? Like I love talking about the biology of the brain and in terms of helping our first responders. But I was able to sit and watch a use of force panel, which I have no
Uh-huh.
business sitting and watching a use of force panel, but actually Chief was on the panel. So I wanted to go and
Oh,
support
cool.
while he did that. And it was actually so eye-opening. And I would like to say this like in terms of being a civilian and this notion of literally how fast it takes these first responders to make decisions. Like,
Right.
and sometimes these decisions obviously end kind of catastrophically, right? Like sad, right?
Hmm.
But they were giving examples of different situations and how they ended and how much time that officer had to make the decision. And like the one example was literally from the time that the call started to the time it was an OIS, right? So by the time the officer shot their weapon was 7 seconds.
Wow.
7 seconds. And like it was pretty intense to learn like and I feel like I know a lot. So I guess
Of
I'm just
course.
stressing this because I learned so much of
Hmm.
this notion of just like really what the brain is doing in those moments, but how you have such little time to make such big decisions, right?
Mm.
As like civilians, we don't take the time to stop and learn these things.
Hmm.
And a lot of the times we have people who watch these videos and don't, right, make such comments or don't understand. And yet when you break down the science of it and you really look at it for what it is, like it is kind of wild.
Hmm.
So that really, really stood out to me. I loved that they had a panel of different people. The one guy was, I don't even know, like Mr. Genius. I was blown away. I still think about that often, like how I'm just intrigued by it, but also it opened my eyes more so to these uses of force that we see and like how a lot of the times, I'm not saying all the time, again, look, I'm not, but sometimes when it is justified, it can look very bad and
Hmm.
the right thing is happening for the moment.
Well, I think I love the perfect word you use there. I think of the science of it, like the science of the brain and decision making. And again, you and I have talked about in depth, the different hemispheres of the brain and where that information is coming from and how the body and the brain are kind of connected. It's incredible. But I also think about in terms of that decision, to bring it back to that piece of like the family, it's that decision fatigue sometimes too when we see first responders that show up, how decision fatigue they have. Don't ask me what decision I have to make for dinner or what are our plans for this weekend and things like that. And I know that can be hard for family members sometimes to see that shut down. Go ahead.
Yeah, no, I have to say this or else my brain's going to forget it.
Yeah, you're good.
That, and I don't know if you guys have experienced that first responder being like super impatient for you
Hmm.
to make a decision or to
Hmm.
move on something, right? Like I have to get something done, so do it. Like, what are you
Hmm.
doing? Right?
Right, right,
Or like,
right.
let's go, let's go. I hear that all the time from like, especially my spouse is a first responder, is like the rush, always the rush to move,
Hmm.
to like do. And I wonder, that just hit me as you were talking. I wonder if this, now I have to research this, like if that's a big part of this, I would think that it is. Like
Hmm.
either that fatigue or that almost overactive
Right,
brain saying, no, make the decision. And is that why they then look at other people sometimes as incompetent when that's not true? Someone's just
right, right,
taking more
right.
time to figure it out.
Right, exactly. That's a really good point, and I'm glad. And that's incredible, to sit on something that you're like, hey, I don't know if this is applicable for me, but I still like step away with learning some science and some real kind of amazing stuff there.
Yeah, it was very, very cool, very powerful stuff. And then again to network with like the other clinicians that were there and to have those opportunities as well was just that's so cool to learn what everyone else is doing. There was so many, I have to say this too, people that came to our presentation. It was kind of split, but I was still shocked by that. There was like half of our group would be like, yes, we have a mental health program or something related to mental health, and half would be like, we don't or
Yeah,
but it's bogus. Right. And I was
I hate that
still a little
one.
bit, yeah. And I was still very shocked by that. Like,
Yeah,
you but again, this is my like my world, right? Like our world is this is what
yeah,
we see. So like, but to still hear people being like, maybe we have nothing, I'm like, oh.
yeah. So tell everybody about your presentation. I know you're humble, but you and Chief presented at ILEADA, which is a big deal to be even invited to present. So tell us about that.
Yeah, so thank you for saying that. Him and I do a really good job kind of going back and forth with each other. And the really cool thing is that we don't always agree. We don't see things eye to eye on everything, but that was the purpose of this presentation is how do you bridge the clinical side of things with admin, with having different perspectives sometimes and having
Yeah.
different and just like we're talking about, right, decision making and my life is vastly different than theirs and how do I find that compassion sometimes for our first responders that are struggling when in reality, like they see it as them being maybe irresponsible, right? Like all
Right.
different things that can transpire. And so we really tried to present on how him and I approach those things, the different ways that I see someone struggling versus maybe the way he may see them struggling and our approaches to that, and
Hmm.
how to essentially work together to make a program. And ours is
Yeah.
still in the infancy stages. We're very honest about that. But we've had to obviously very much so work together and do it quickly to get to where we are already at.
Right. Right.
So that's what we presented on. I think that it was pretty successful. Again, a little he's gonna listen. A little exhausting keeping that one on track. But
Hmm.
yeah, I think at one point he honestly did, okay, what is it called? I may have said this already, but like a little Stewart or something like that from maybe Saturday Night Live. Is that a skit?
Oh, from Mad TV, TV?
Yes, Mad TV. There it is.
Yeah, that's a
Yeah,
throwback. Uh-huh.
the kick.
Yes,
He did
yes.
that in the middle of our presentation.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
Like, what? And then that moment in my brain, I just literally was like, well, I've officially lost him. Like, I'm gonna just let him ride this out.
Right.
I'm just gonna sit here. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know.
You made a decision to turn your
Um,
brain off after that one.
Honestly, I was like, well, it was our second one. It was our second presentation, and we were near the end. So I was like, yeah, I'll let him ride that out.
Right, right, right.
It was a very interesting topic. It is very cool to see through his lens because I am so defiant towards admin when it comes to mental health.
Right.
I'm
Yeah.
stubborn. I'm pretty hard hitter with it because I truly think it makes or breaks programs.
Yeah. No, I mean, it's very clear it's your passion. And I think if anybody's ever listened to one episode of this podcast, they recognize that is something that you care deeply for. And you guys have done a lot in a little time with that program, which is incredible. And I also like this idea, and I think it's really important when we can build something when we do have different perspectives or different priorities and things like that. I think sometimes we think that we just all need to be on the same page about everything, and that's just not true. I think we have a lot more to offer when we can build something that has, different sides and thoughts and so I'm sure maybe there are heated debates at times and yet to know like, hey, what's our purpose? It's to serve. So
Yeah. And
mhm.
it is something I think all of us, you have to be able to meet at a table and sit and just talk,
Right,
right? And
right, right, right.
it's that individual work of keeping an open mind, even when you don't agree with something, right? Like is
Hmm.
trying to hear them out and see it through their perspective. And I think that's what's incredibly important. Like there are definitely things where I can tell that he maybe doesn't always appreciate me. Like I will give that pushback, right?
Hmm.
Or I will be like, okay, so no, like that's not, like that's not
Right.
happening. And he'll look at me kind of like, did this girl just tell me no? Like this, like I'm the chief. Like, but at the end of the day, he also always takes that step back and is willing to be like, okay, explain, like give me the explanation and I will.
Yeah.
And most of the time he's like, okay,
Yeah.
I see where you're
I
coming.
definitely have been a part of programs before. I don't know. I'm not saying this is what you and Chief are having back and forth about, but I'm just thinking about experiences that I have that, confidentiality means confidentiality. Like,
Yep.
I don't care if this person is your employee or your friend or whatever, your cousin, like what's shared in a confidential setting has to remain confidential. And like I again work with people that meant really well. They weren't even trying to like, I need this information because I want to gossip. I think it was like they really cared about the person and really wanted reassurance that they're okay. And it's just like that's still breaking confidentiality. Like, and I think that sometimes can be a hard line as a therapist sometimes to say like, and even when like, well, I know you can't tell me, but and it's like there's just no but there. Like I can't tell you.
Yeah,
So.
and I'm incredibly blessed. Like Chief knows he is so good with that. Honestly, the whole department typically
Right.
is.
Sorry. Like I said, I was like, that's probably not what you're talking
No, no,
about.
no, no.
Yeah.
But I like this because it's a great example. Like, not every one of our higher ups are perfect with that. And that's something that we're
Hmm.
working on. And we're still working through the pains of being like, no. So I
Yeah.
actually don't have the right to know that.
Right.
Like, actually, no, this isn't your place. People don't love that.
Right.
I will say that that's an area where he knows so much that he can't get involved, that he uses it against me as like a let me pick on you moment.
Hmm.
But he knows that if we break that, then the program doesn't work. Like he knows.
Yeah. Then
So
the program's broken. Yeah.
yeah. So
Hmm.
like his new thing with me, Lord, is he'll be like, I'll be like, I have to run a debrief, and he'll be like, oh, I'm coming. And then I'm standing right behind you when you do your debrief, like because he knows I keep my debrief separate, right? So
Hmm.
if it's a debrief for my deputies, and then maybe there was higher ups like sergeants or something on the call, I'll run one separate for them. But
Gotcha. No, I like that.
they're not coming in with my guys, right? Or my
Hmm.
girls. Like if they have something to say, about higher ups, they should have the right to say it without feeling any sort of way.
Right.
So I keep it separate, right? And so Chief always makes fun of me for that, and he'll always be like, "Oh, I'm coming in there," and I'm like, "No, you're not. Like, you're
Yeah.
not. You're just picking on me." And then he laughs and he's like, I know." But then he's always like, "I don't know why you think you could tell me no, but I know." I'm like, "Because you're not. Like, we're not. I don't mess around with that. Like, people know that very, very much so."
Yeah.
I think I scared the living daylights out of my deputies like, I'm not kidding. The first time I ran a debrief, I went a little hard on the confidentiality part. So hard, in fact, that afterwards, so funny. They were like, our wellness coordinator was just trying to get like, did it go okay? Because it was literally our first debrief, like
Yeah. Yeah.
that our department is ran. So she wasn't trying to ask what was said in there or anything. She was just trying to be like, good experience, bad experience,
Yeah.
right? Like thumbs up, thumbs down. And they would not. And, and
I
she's like,
can't even say.
can you please talk to them about like, because she was like, what was that? I'm like, oh, I went real hard. Like,
Job well done. Job well done.
just I felt bad about it afterwards. I'm like, oh my God, sorry, everybody. But
Right.
other than that, like, I just think it's just when we have situations occur or when we, like, I think one big thing is that the difference between caring and confident, right? Like, there are moments where our higher ups are like, hey, they know something happened, right? And so then they send the wellness team. And it is hard to be like, so you're not going to tell me if they're okay? Like, you're not going to tell me if, and it's like,
Right.
no. Fact, like the only thing that I ever give back is just like numbers, right? Like stats. So,
Hmm.
hey, in the month of March, we had 3 debriefs and I had one critical like call out, meaning like one of our deputies wasn't okay and I went and handled it.
Hmm.
But I'm not telling you who, and I'm not telling you
Right.
you can get the
Right.
number, but
Right. Gotcha. Yeah, it's a hard thing, but I mean, it sounds like it's going really well. And like, it's cool that you guys got to present what you guys are doing there and help those programs don't have anybody to say, hey, this is important.
yeah, for sure. And I think we want to take that. We definitely learned from this conference, like where we
Yeah.
would improve upon in terms of if we ever get to do it again, which I do think they want us back next year to do it again.
So,
So you can teach like your curriculum 2 years in a row there.
nice.
So I think that that's going to be the plan again, right?
Hmm.
Hopefully all said and done. So that's exciting. And then he wants you and I to present on something too. I guess the whole week I'm just going to be presenting, which
Well,
is
I love that you guys went and now we have homework, right? So,
yes,
mhm.
always, always. Eileen is really
Well, yeah, Alita is really cool. So we did talk a little bit about, hey, we should talk about spring is in the air and seasonal changes. And sometimes that even means like not feeling 100%. I don't know if you want to talk about that still or.
Yeah, I do. So just I think on the topic of Ileta, this kind of hit me too. So we told everybody that I was going to go to Nashville. So that connection was that Nashville PD had been like, come check out our mental health program. And I
Which
was
was
so excited.
awesome.
Like,
Yeah.
yes. And Chief was I was just so excited. And Saturday, I'm getting ready. I was supposed to leave for Nashville on Sunday and come back on a Wednesday, right? And I'm getting ready on Saturday, and all of a sudden, like mid getting ready, I was like, oh my gosh, I have to sleep. Like I have to take a nap. Like
Hmm.
it was like my eyes were not staying open. It was just so bizarre. It hit me like out of nowhere. I mean, sometimes I could be tired and nap, but not like this. Like this was like
Right,
out
right,
of my
right.
control.
Yeah, yeah.
And I fell asleep on the couch, like, and I never do that. And I woke up and I was like, oh man, like I gotta keep going. I gotta keep going. I gotta get my nails done. I gotta look good, right? Like
Right.
I go get my nails done and I'm like freezing. Like I'm like, gosh, like
Uh,
shivering. I'm like, what is going on? Like it was cold outside though. So I was like, oh, it's just cold
yeah.
everywhere, right? And I right after I get my nails done, I was like, I need to go I'm a sucker for snacky snacks while I'm driving. So I was like, I gotta go to Walmart fast. I'm gonna get some road snacks. And I couldn't do it.
Hmm.
Like I was like, I have not like I feel so zapped. I was like, I can't do it.
Hmm.
And sure enough, I get home and like it just progressed and I take my temperature and it's like, hey, 102, 102.3,
Jeez.
102.4. Like it just keeps going up and I'm like, whoa. And I take meds and like it would go down to like 99, but the minute it would wear off, it would go back up. And I could not even stay awake. Like it was like I would be in and out of sleep, right? And like get constant sleep because when you have a fever that high, you just don't feel.
Yeah, yeah. You're not getting
Um,
rest. Yeah.
yeah. So, but I couldn't stay awake. So like I was supposed to leave Sunday and I was like, if anybody knows me, so I was in a
I know you. Can I say?
yeah,
Like
yeah,
you
go ahead.
never you when Ashley commits, she commits. There's no like backing out if we say, and we were actually supposed to record on Sunday evening.
And I
You were
forgot.
you were gonna get to Nashville, get settled in your hotel room, and then we were gonna record. And I text and I'm like, hey. And you're like, oh my goodness. And I was like, so you didn't even go to Nashville? And you're like, no, which I was glad you didn't go to Nashville. How miserable to be sick in another place. But I know it meant like it was a huge deal for you to like have to like say,
Yeah.
I can't go.
Yeah. And I think I was reflecting on it because, of course, I had to tell the group that went, like, hey, I can't go, but can you guys, go still to this,
Right.
visit? And of course, got made fun of per usual. Someone
Yeah,
made
yeah, yeah.
me the definition of what it meant to fake an illness to get out of responsibility. But I,
As much as that's a joke, I know that probably got
oh,
you.
it
And
killed.
then,
I'm not
yeah.
me like crying with a
Uh-huh.
102 fever at home because all I wanted to do was be there. And I'm really bad at telling myself that it is okay to be sick and to not do something.
Can
I'm
we
terrible.
talk about this? I read this book. I read this book over Christmas break, and it's called Everything is Tuberculosis. Such a random, it was such a
What?
good book. I highly recommend it. I wish
Yeah.
I could, I'd have to Google the author's name. But one of the things I was talking about, and I was like, this is so interesting, is like the morality of illness and how, there is this like subconscious part of us as humans that if somebody's sick, then they're weak.
Yes. Yes.
When illness happens to everybody, unfortunately, some more than others too. Isn't
Yeah.
that wild?
No, I love that because it's true. It's truly such a something that I have to work through. And I think it does stem from my dad, but I don't ever think he meant this maybe to go as far as I take it. But like my dad was very much that mentality, and we've talked about this before. A lot of first responders are this like rub some dirt on it. Like
Yeah.
even though you're sick, you're still going to school, you're getting
I'm sure you were out in the yard getting dirt for that
right,
102 attempt to try to like get
right,
it
like
to go
rub it on.
down.
Like he's very much so like that. And I just have it in my head that if I am sick and I am missing something, I'm failing.
Yeah.
And I tell myself that, and it's the absolute worst feeling in the world because I feel like I'm never actually resting. I'm never okay because my brain's constantly like, "Are you serious? Like you have all these things to get done, and now you can't even function." Like
Right.
this one was so bad though that I honestly didn't even have the choice. I will work through sickness all the time, but
Yeah, of course.
that's exactly why I wanted to bring this up because I think that a lot of our first responders, myself included, I am not a first responder, but in terms of burning it too much at both ends, and I
Hmm.
get called out for that a lot. And I will give my very last everything to something. Like I
I mean, almost like your co-host on this podcast texted you, and it's like, take it easy. We can, we can reschedule. We can do these things. Yes.
exactly.
Hmm.
I just don't know, but I think that people what I want to stress here is like if you are I get sick kind of often, not to this degree where I'm
Right, right,
like
right.
out, but like
Mm.
that
Which
is
we finally did get a diagnosis. Or do you want to share your diagnosis?
oh yeah, it
A
was
little double that you got.
I got a little double tap of the flu and strep throat at the
Yeah,
same
yeah, yeah. I
time.
love it that you just didn't get one. You wanted to make sure to get
Oh,
both of them.
heaven forbid you just struggle with one. What who,
So the
you
flu
know?
and strep at the same time.
Do you want
Hmm.
to know what else? So somebody was like, one of my friends was like, "How do you know you're feeling better?" And I was like, I feel like I can be a sarcastic pain in the ass again. We're good. Let's go. Like,
I'm
uh,
healed. I'm
the
healed.
only way I can survive this career. So,
Right.
without that, I'm so vulnerable. But I think that I wanted to bring this up, and we don't have to spend all this time on it. But this notion of that, not our bodies, the physical symptoms that we get, like it will tell us when we are stressed or when we are overloaded in the brain.
Hmm.
And I think that we don't spend enough time. We try to jump on first responders who are struggling. I say it's like a second tier. And this is exactly what I presented at Anilita too, is these three tiers, different levels essentially of someone of crisis indicators,
Mm,
right? And I think that we really much so see them in the second, more so of this like isolation, withdrawal. The families will start to say you're so irritable all the time. But really,
right.
in that first tier, we could see some of these things starting to occur in terms of feeling a little bit more irritable or just not sleeping. But one of the main things in that very first level, right, of a crisis indicator of someone going down a path of really struggling is physical symptoms,
Hmm.
right? And so maybe it's being more aware of yourself in terms of, am I having a lot more physical symptoms? But also maybe if it's you observing people around you, are they complaining about things a lot?
Yeah.
Are they,
Yeah,
not,
like always having a headache
there it
or
is,
hmm.
stomach
Yeah.
issues.
Stomach is huge.
Yeah. Well, and that
Hmm.
digestive system is always thrown off when our adrenaline's and our limbic system's out of whack, whatever. But I don't know. I guess my little nerdy self, as sick as I was, did actually, and everyone should be proud of me. One, I didn't go to Nashville at all. Of course, I told
Right.
myself on Sunday, just
Nashville really missed out.
Monday.
Hmm.
Oh, like see Monday if you can still make it, Ash. And then at like noon on Sunday, I was like, what am I doing? I'm
Right.
gonna stress myself out. I didn't go, but I did take the time to reflect on people because Chief immediately sent me a text message and said, oh, look what happens when you start to do too much.
Right.
And at first I was offended. Like I was a little bit like,
Hmm.
man, tell that to me one more time. Like, and then and then I was like, gosh dang it. I know it's true. And I wish I would stop and listen to my body more so first and realize I need to take those step backs. But I also thought, I know a lot of my first responders do the same thing. We go, 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 go.
One of my college roommates used to say, you can sleep when you're dead. Like
Yes,
that's
I hear
what,
that all the time.
yeah. And, I think about, growing up and I'm looking at my to-do list right here with so many things that need to be knocked off of it. But we are go, 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 go. And there's a lot to do and there's a lot to get done. And I don't know about you, but I feel good when I get those things done. And yet, rest is important. And I'll share this, we were out of town and on vacation, and it was a big push for my husband's like work right before we left, and all the things that you have to get done before you go on vacation and stuff. And we were there and we were having a good time, and we got to a place that we were going to stay for a few more nights because we traveled throughout. We were in Portugal, so we traveled throughout Portugal, and we got to go to the beach, and we were going to be there for a couple of days. And that first night at the beach, like he just started not feeling well, and it was almost like all that kind of adrenaline dump in a way of like, all that stuff, and finally kind of getting to be still. And your body's kind of playing catch up a little bit. And look, I'm not a medical doctor. And, we were on an airplane where you're sharing air with all kinds of people, all those kind of things that can happen and why we get sick. But it is important to allow our bodies to rest. And when we go, 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 sometimes it's just like, like what a metaphor would be, it's almost like when we finally get to stop, it's almost like we have whiplash. Like, oh, I get to stop and like, I don't know, it's like the stress of everything is still kind of playing inside of our bodies.
Yeah. Yeah. Yes.
Mhm.
I could see that big time. I think it's like that. I also have heard this term, and I think it's so true that like if you don't rest, your body's going to force you to.
Yeah, exactly. That's a great way to put it too. And there's a lot of vacations that get ready to happen in summer. And so just be thinking about that because it is important to rest and to get away. And one thing, whenever I teach a class, I kind of always ask people if like they check their emails while they're on vacation. And
Yeah.
I can't tell you how many people like raise their hands. And it's just like, that's your time. That's your time. It does suck to come back to 1,000 emails. It does. Like, it's the worst. In fact, we got back 3 weeks ago, 4 weeks ago, and Clinton said, was it yesterday, or the day before? He goes, I finally caught up on my emails. Like it takes a long time to get caught up, but you'll get caught up. That time away is time away. Enjoy it. But Maybe that's a different episode about boundaries. I don't know. But I
Oh,
just want people
boundaries
to
is so good.
enjoy their vacations, you
Yeah,
know?
and I don't, I mean, that's my big takeaway from all of this is just like, and then it was just something I was thinking about that I was like, I really want to share on the podcast is this notion of like, hey, like, honestly, those physical symptoms may be really our first line of defense of recognizing like, I need to do something for me. I
Yeah.
need to take a step back.
Well, and how important it is to listen to our bodies,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah.
And take good care of them. What else for
Yeah.
today?
That's what I had. And I'm excited that we're
Perfect.
back and
I'm
we,
excited that we're back too. And again, we were trying to record earlier this week, and poor Ashley, if I had a letter, I'm sure she would have tried to still have us meet. No, you were pretty good. Like, can we just do it another time?
I
And I was
don't
like,
know that we would have
yes.
gotten it. I don't even know if I would have made
It
any
would have
sense.
just been a literal fever dream, like at
Yeah.
the
Swear. I swear. But
Yeah,
no, excited. Exciting things still coming. Of course, we're keeping this rolling and we're just very thankful for everybody and to get back on track.
absolutely.
All right. Well, when the call hits home, you guys know Jennifer and I are here for you. Thank you.
Have a good one. Bye.